The terror attack in Orlando dividing Congress over how to fight radical extremism and guns. The Senate failing to pass any of the four gun control bills this week, but now there's a new measure that's getting a new look. Let's bring in Florida Democratic Senator and Orlando resident Bill Nelson. He is a co-sponsor of the compromise bill being introduced by Maine Senator Susan Collins. Senator, thanks so much for being here on New Day. Let's talk about this new bill and what makes you think this one has a fighting chance when the other four died.
Because we have a Republican sponsor. Unfortunately, the votes on Monday broke along partisan lines. But this time, a group of political centrists, both parties, have come together. Now the question is, we'll get most of the Democrats for this. The question is, in view of the NRA full court press in opposition to it, can they get anywhere from 15 to 20 Republicans to support it?
Let's talk about...
That's how you get to 60.
Okay, let's talk about what's in the bill. Is this basically the no-fly, no-buy theory that if you're on a terror watch list that prevents you from getting on a plane, you shouldn't be able to get a gun?
It's actually very little difference from Dianne Feinstein's bill that was voted down on Monday. Hers on American persons, which is American citizens and those legally here, like green card holders, that would affect only 5,000 people in the country. Susan Collins would affect only 2,700 people in the country. So you can see it's very little difference. It's the no-fly list on Susan's plus the selectee list, and that's 2,700.
Okay, so the fact that Dianne Feinstein's didn't work, the reason that you think that this one stands a chance is just because it's an even more narrow scope, and you think that maybe the NRA won't hold sway with some of your colleagues?
It's the fact that we've got bipartisan support. There are improvements in Susan's bill as to the appeals process if you mistakenly get on, for example, the selectee list. It makes it easier to get off. That's an improvement. Both those bills, by the way, included my bill because neither one of them would have caught Mateen. Mine says if you've been on the watch list in the past, as Mateen had, that then when you buy the gun, the FBI is pinged with a notice so they can go talk to that person.
Well, given, Senator, I mean, how you and I have spoken in the past about how much power you do believe the NRA holds in the halls of Congress there, what do you think is going to happen with this bill?
I think it's going to be close. If we get 40 Democrats out of 46, they've got to come up with 20. If we get all 46, all they have to do is come up with 14 Republican senators. Either way, it's going to be close.
Senator Chris Murray said on Monday, when those other measures failed, quote, the Republicans have decided to sell weapons to ISIS. Do you agree with that?
Yes. And I'm very proud of Chris and doing that 15-hour filibuster, which I participated in, which 40 members of our caucus participated in, because it brought this issue to a head. And we're talking about it, and we're actually going to vote on something again that's got a chance.
I mean, of course, the Republicans didn't know that this gunman, nor did the gun shop owner know that this gunman had pledged allegiance to ISIS. So is that not a bridge too far, saying the Republicans have decided to sell guns, decided to sell weapons to ISIS?
But he had been on the terrorist list, and the bill that we're going to vote on, it would catch a person like that because it would ping the FBI. Allison, I owe this to the people of Orlando. They want action. I had people, when I was down there interviewing with Chris in the heat of summer on South Orange Avenue, I'd have people come up to me just enveloped in tears and grab me and hug me and say, please, Senator, do something.
Yeah.
I owe this to them.
Senator, I know that since this massacre, you've also spent a great deal of time with fellow Senator Marco Rubio. Do you think that this catastrophe in both of your home state has changed his opinion on whether or not to seek re-election?
I don't know. I really don't know. It has gripped the state of Florida, and I specifically reached out to Marco when I found out he was coming to Orlando. I said, Marco, you and I need to stand in front of those cameras together to show that we are united in this crisis. But I don't know what his political calculus is about running for re-election.
Okay, Senator Bill Nelson, thank you. We will be following very closely what happens in Congress this week. Thanks so much for being on New Day.
Thanks, Allison.